The old pre-flight check. Let's see, we got master on, radio master good, everything else. Get some navs, a strobe. Fuel is on, trim is set, flaps are set. And most important of all,
As I fly from Oliver to Kelowna, following the chain of freshwater lakes and rivers, I can see the dryness of the landscape nestled amongst the rolling hills of the Columbia and Cascade mountain ranges.
we're just 5,000 feet over Okanagan Mountain Park on the north side of it. Squawking 1200, we're doing some aerial filming of the park area, and we'll be inbound for a full stop in about 20 minutes.
Fox Hotel X-ray, Roger, Kelowna, altimeter 3005, we're landing runway 16, advise when you're inbound.
Copy 16, and we'll advise inbound, and it's Whiskey Hotel X-ray.
Whiskey Hotel X-ray, thanks.
In the hot, dry summer of 2003, a lightning strike touched down in the Okanagan Valley and a spark was born. Before this spark lost its flame, it consumed over 25,000 hectares of forest and parkland, forced the evacuation of more than 27,000 people, and destroyed over 200 homes. For over 2 weeks, this inferno exhausted the efforts of over 2,500 firefighters, loggers, and members of the Canadian Armed Forces as they waged war against the Okanagan Mountain Park firestorm.
Right over my shoulder is Okanagan Mountain Park, and we're in the town of Kelowna. Imagine looking up at that hill ablaze, especially with the wind that we feel this morning. It would add to the drama thinking, it's going to get pushed right into town here. It would have been quite the spectacle.
Rennie Blandley, the fire chief of the Kelowna Fire Department, has witnessed the overwhelming destructive nature of fire for many years. The 2003 firestorm struck Kelowna at a level even he had never witnessed before.
Wildfires are something that we've dealt with ongoing over the history of Kelowna because it is semi-desert and it's dry, and we do have seasonal fires. 2003 was certainly a lot drier and a lot more dangerous than most, and we had experienced a lot of small grass fires and wildfires in Kelowna over that period as well. We certainly knew the potential was there. And it started out relatively small and obviously a very difficult area for us to access. Not an area that we would readily have gone to on most days. It certainly was a challenge. You could go by water. There was really no road system that would get you in close to it. Okanagan Mountain Park had been an area of concern for forestry and the provincial government for a long time. There was a lot of dry timber in there. There was a lot of dead fuel.
We could see it from our house crawling right across the mountain on the other side of the lake. So it was watching it, seeing it progress, and then actually sitting on our deck and seeing the first house go up.
On the night of the 21st, myself and Lou Wild and two forestry guys got up in a helicopter. It was about 4:30 in the afternoon, took a fly up, and it was quite something to see. It looked like Niagara Falls, but fire, wind-driven, moving at 11 kilometers an hour. I looked over and there's a 30-year forestry veteran beside me, and his eyes were big, and he said, you know what, I've seen rank 6 fire in unurbanized areas, he said, but I've never seen it moving at this rate towards a populated city.
You've got a city property.
Yep.
And you got a fire coming towards it, and you should be able to just put up a line and stop it. Tell me what the frustration was.
I could tell you, from a structural perspective, that's what we thought we could do. We thought we would go out in the perimeter of the area, and we knew this thing was moving into our area because it was in this Kicking Horse Wild Horse Canyon that was kind of down and kind of dropped into Crawford, and we put up a defense sort of on the edges of the property of, if you will, of the city of Kelowna, and said, okay, we had hose lines hooked up to hydrants, we were foaming down areas, cutting down trees, setting up this defendable space, thinking, we'll stop it here, right, as a group collectively. And we had a lot of firefighters up there. We had a lot of engines, a lot of equipment up there. And in the early goings, the ember brands were probably traveling 5 and 6 kilometers over their heads and starting some houses on fire, fully involved roofs. And our people were kind of up on the perimeter of the city, if you will, waiting for this fire, kind of sitting there going, well, we don't see anything. Well, we have houses on fire behind them.
I remember being at the grocery store and coming outside and it was raining ash and it just looked like snow was falling, but it was ash and it was crazy.
My dad was one of the firefighters in it, so it was anxious. Like I was, waiting for him to come home each night, hoping that he was going to be okay.
We try and work strategically, obviously trying to save life as a priority, and then obviously we want to make sure the safety of our own people is ensured, and then we want to do the best we can to save property. The structural people would look after the houses and 100 meters from the houses into the wildland area, and the forestry people would look after the wildland fire. And one of the big things was a unified command, where the command was set up jointly with forestry and with structural firefighters. And that way we had accountability. We knew where they were, they knew where we were, they knew what strategies and objectives so that we could meet the same end goal, and that was to ultimately put out this large-scale fire.
You've got this fire that you're trying to deal with, but the manager's worst nightmare is guys behind the line can't get out in danger. Tell me what that's like.
Well, you know what?
Is that what you signed up for?
That's a god-awful feeling, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
At the point where we can control and command our own staff, but when you start putting so many more responders and firefighters into the game, and in some of them you're not even aware that are out there. I told you that we had probably anywhere from 600 to 800 firefighters on scene here. Everybody's up there trying to get into the game and try and help out. Well, at that point now your accountability and command board really kind of flies out the window, and everybody's out there trying to do the right thing, but at the end of the day everybody's got to come back as well. We have firefighters here that experience some very scary situations and being trapped and caught behind the fire line, if you will.
You're up there at 2 o'clock in the morning and it's like a campfire. You're sitting around there, it's a campfire, a lot of smoke and stuff, but it's a campfire. At 2 in the afternoon, it's nothing you can imagine.
We had buses dropping off, structural and forestry firefighters that had been up on the hillside for 12 to 20 hours at a go. Looked like they were coming back from Vietnam. I mean, guys were emotionally drained. They had suffered the kind of losses that they'd never experienced before. Houses that, doing the very best you can, having a hose line on it, doing a very aggressive attack, to seeing houses just simply go up in flames right in front of their eyes.
You're watching a tree up the hillside, just, it's a ball of flame. It's a tree, now it's a ball of flame. You can't imagine a tree disappearing that fast.
Rank 6 fire, sounded like a jet engine just rolling. Just really awesome, ominous stuff to be part of, and certainly a lot of firefighters scared for their own safety that evening. Hellfire, Hell Night they called it. Pretty powerful stuff.
DVD copies of the Wings Over Canada series are available, singly or in box sets at wingsovercanada.ca or at 1-866-909-4647.